Welcome to Shivin Solution. So you are solving 2021 JAM question paper. So up to 40 questions we did in the previous videos. From 41 onwards we are doing in this video. So let's start. Question number 41. The total number of optically active isomers of dichlorobis glycinate 3 ion is. Okay, let's see how to solve this question. So the complex given is, this is the complex. Okay, this is the complex. So we have to find out the optically active isomers. So to find the optically active isomers, we should have a good idea about the geometrical isomers. So first we should think about the geometrical isomers. So what are the geometrical isomers possible for this molecule? So that is what we are doing first. So to find out the geometrical isomers possible for this molecule, we should have two possibilities. One is this one. Based on this chlorine, we are classifying cis and trans condition based on this chlorine only. Okay, so this chlorine is cis to each other. So if we are placing the chlorine as such, what are the other possibilities? So this is one isomer. So we are talking about the cis possibilities. So cis based on chlorine. Okay, so another molecule, another isomer possible is this one, CO, Cl, Cl cis to each other. Here you can see these two nitrogens are trans to each other. So another possibility is oxygen is trans to each other. This is the another possibility. Okay, this is another isomer, and we have another possibility is we are placing chlorine like this, and in these two isomers, nitrogen are opposite trans to each other, oxygen are trans to each other. Another possibility is nitrogen and oxygen comes to opposite. Okay, so this is the another possibility. These are the cis isomers possible. Okay, another possibility is trans. So we are placing chlorine trans to each other. So let's see what are the possibilities. Okay, so we are placing chlorine like this, and we have nitrogen and oxygen here. So nitrogen and nitrogen are cis to each other, oxygen and oxygen are cis to each other. This is one possibility, and another possibility is this one, chlorine trans to each other, nitrogen and nitrogen are trans to each other. Okay, completely trans possibilities. These are the 5 possible geometrical isomers. So we are in the question paper, it's asked to find out the optical isomers. So we should find out the optical isomers. So what is the condition for a molecule to optical activity? The condition for a molecule to optically active is this one. It should not have any plane of symmetry. It should not have any plane of symmetry. That is the condition. So the molecule should not have any plane of symmetry. So you can see this molecule. In this case, you can see this plane. We can have this plane. So this is a mirror plane. So this will not give you, this is not optically active. And this molecule also have the plane of symmetry here. Okay, this plane. So this is also optically inactive. So these trans molecules are optically inactive, but all these 3 molecules are optically active. So this molecule will have its mirror image, and that will be optically active, 2 isomers for this one, and this will also have the mirror image, and this will also have the mirror image. So the total number of optically active molecule will be 6. So that is the answer for question number 41. Now let's move on to question number 42. Question number 42. The total number of microstate possible for a D8 electronic configuration is. Now let's see how to solve this. The number of microstate equal to n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. This is the equation to find out the total number of microstates. Okay, This is an easy question. Actually, what is n? N is the total number of electrons possible in an orbital. Maximum number of electrons possible in an orbital. That means for d orbital it is 10, for p orbital it is 6, for s orbital it is 2, like that. So n, we have given d8 electronic configuration, so n equal to 10. R is the number of electrons present. In this case it is 8. So if we have substituting this equation, 8 factorial into 10 minus 8 factorial. Okay, so 10 factorial means 10 into 9 into 8 into etc. Okay, so here it will cut off 10 into 9 divided by 2 into 1. Okay, so this will also cut off 5 into 9 equal to 45. This is the number. This is the answer for question number 42. Answer is 45. Now let's move on to question number 43. Question number 43. For the following fusion reaction, 4 hydrogen gives helium plus 2 beta plus 2 nu plus gamma. The Q value, energy of the reaction in mega electron volt, round off to 1 decimal place is. Okay, let's see how to solve this. So what is Q? Energy of reaction equal to delta M into 931.5 mega electron volt. This is the equation for Q, energy of the reaction. What is M? M is the mass defect. This is mass defect. Mass defect, we can say delta M equal to mass of reactant minus mass of product. Okay, so that is the mass defect. So in this particular case, 2 hydrogen nucleus combine to form a helium nucleus and some other particles. Okay, during that process there are some energy released. So that energy is coming from this mass defect. Thus this mass is converted to energy by Einstein's famous E is equal to mc square equation. Okay, mass energy conversion. So that mass is converted to energy. That amount is calculated like this. Actually this is derived from E equal to mc square. That energy we calculate in mega electron volt. So that is how we calculate this one. Let's see how to solve this. So okay, delta M is the mass of the reactant and mass of the product. Difference in mass of the reactant and mass of the product. So we have for reactant 4 into mass of hydrogen minus mass of helium. In the product we have mass of helium nucleus. Okay, so it is all the data are given. You can see in the questions all the data are given. So just substitute these values. 4 into 1.00725 minus 4.002604. Okay, if we find the difference between these values, you will get delta M equal to 0.028696. Okay, so this is delta M. Okay, if we multiply this by 931.5, you will get the answer in mega electron volt. So the answer is 26. If we multiply this one 26.5, this will be the answer. Okay, so that's in 26.7. okay, this is in mega electron volt. Okay, that's how we will get the answer. Now we'll move on to question number 44. Question number 44. MgO crystallizes as rock salt structure with unit cell length 2.12 angstrom from electrostatic model. The calculated lattice energy in kilojoule per mole is Okay, let's see how to solve this. So we should find out the lattice energy. Lattice energy U is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 z plus z minus Na Em divided by R into 1 minus 1 by N. This is the equation to calculate the lattice energy. Let's discuss which are the terms. U is lattice energy, Z plus Z minus are the charge, Na Avogadro number, E charge on the electron, M Moudlin constant, R is the internuclear distance, N is Born exponential factor. Okay, so these are the terms, and for this particular question we should find out the MgO. Okay, so for MgO we should find out the value of R and N. We should find out the R and N. The equation is like this. Okay, so we should find out the value of R and N. So for R is the internuclear distance. We should know the structure of MgO. In this case, MgO is rock salt structure. So if we have a rock salt structure, then the structure will be like this. Okay, so this will be A. Okay, so R will be A by 2. So R equal to A by 2. So we are given A is given. Okay, so we can find out the value of R. And one more thing, another thing is we should find out the value of N, that is Born exponential factor. Okay, how can we find out the Born exponential factor? For Born exponential factor, we should find for neon systems. Okay, neon systems N equal to 7. Okay, so we know magnesium and magnesium 2 plus and O2 minus. Okay, both are neon like system. So we have N equal to 7 for these systems. Okay, so N equal to, we have, so this MgO, how can we calculate the N value is 7 plus 7 divided by 2 equal to 7. This is the value of N. Okay, so the all other values are given in the question, Z plus Z minus Avogadro number, and all other values are given. So just substitute these values here and we will get the answer 7850 kilojoule per mole. Question number 45. Calcium crystallizes in FCC lattice of unit cell length 5.56 angstrom and density 1.4848 gram per centimeter cube. The percentage of Schottky defect in the crystal is, this is given, and Avogadro number Na equal to 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. So these are the values given. Okay, so for a crystal we know density equal to Z into M divided by V into Na. Okay, this is the equation for a molecule, equation to calculate the density of a crystal. So from this we should find out the percentage of Schottky defect. So how can we find out? From this, just calculate the value of Z here. Okay, and if we calculate the value of Z, so this density is after the Schottky defect. Okay, so if we apply the values here, Z equal to, from this equation, density into volume into Na divided by M. So this is the value of, this is how we should calculate the Z. So if we substitute these values here, 1.4848 gram centimeter raised to minus 3 into volume A cube. So 5.56 into 10 raised to minus 8. This is angstrom into centimeter cube, A cube, divided by into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 divided by 40 gram mole raised to minus 1. Okay, this is the equation. So if we calculate the value of Z here, if this Z equal to 3.83, so we will get 842. This is the value we will get for Z. Actually for FCC system we know the value of Z is 4. Okay, so this is the influence of Schottky effect. So the percentage of Schottky effect can be calculated by, so how can we calculate the percentage of defect? Percentage defect equal to 4 minus 3.842 divided by 4 into 100. This is the percentage Schottky effect. So equal to, the answer will be 3.9%. Okay, nearly 4. Okay, so they asked to round off to single digits, so the answer will be 4%. So this is the answer for question number 45. Question number 46. Among the following, the total number of terpenes or terpenoids is. Let's see how to solve this. So terpenes or terpenoids will have 5 carbon atoms. Okay, so from the options from the molecules given below, how can we find out the number of terpenes is, just count the number of carbon atoms in each of the organic molecule and divide it by 5. If it is completely divisible by 5, then that will be a terpene. So that is the idea. So let's see how to calculate this one. First molecule, let's see how many carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 carbon atoms and completely divisible by 5. So that's a terpene. Second molecule, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's also having 10 carbon atoms, completely divisible by 5. That's also a terpene. Third molecule, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 carbon atom, that is not completely divisible by 5. So that is not at all a terpene. Like that, we can calculate it easily. So the answer for this question is, answer is 7. So it's a very easy question. So now let's move on to 47. Question number 47. A buffer solution is prepared by mixing 0.3 molar NH3 and 0.1 molar NH4NO3. If Kb of NH3 is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 5 at 25 degrees Celsius, then the pH of the buffer solution at 25 degrees Celsius is. Let's see how to solve this problem. This is the equation for pOH. So all the values are given. So it's very easy to calculate. So equal to log 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 5 plus log 0.1 divided by 0.3. Okay, so if we substitute these values, we will get answer 9.7. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer for 47. Question number 48. The dissociation constant of a weak monoprotic acid is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 5 and its molar conductance at infinite dilution is 360.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 mole meter square mole inverse. For 0.1 molar solution of this acid, the specific conductance is n into 10 raised to minus 2 mole meter raised to minus 1. The value of n. Okay, let's see how to solve this. So these are the values given. Ka equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 5. These are the values given. Okay, we know these are the known equations for us. Okay, Ka concentration is in mole. Okay, so the units are very important here, so be careful about that. Okay, these are the equations known for us. From these values, okay, Ka is given and C is given. lambda m at infinite dilution is given, kappa, we should find out the value of kappa. Okay, so first of all we should find out, if we apply this value alpha equal to Ka by C, if we apply this value, okay, this is the relation. We should find out the kappa from this lambda m into C. Kappa equal to, from this equation we can say kappa equal to lambda m into C. C is given, concentration is given, but the problem is we don't know the lambda m. Okay, we should find out the value of lambda m. For that we are given lambda m infinity and Ka. Okay, so Ka and concentration is given. From this value we should find value of alpha first. Okay, this is the last equation we should use. The aim for us is to calculate the lambda m. For that, first substitute the values of Ka and C here and find the value of alpha dissociation constant equal to Ka divided by C. Ka is given 1.6, so equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 5 divided by concentration 0.01. Okay, sorry, this is the equation. So we have a root here, so this is the relation. Okay, so if we substitute this one, alpha equal to root of Ka by C, so if we substitute these values here, we will get 0.04. this is the result. We will get alpha equal to 0.04. okay, alpha equal to 0.04, that is the answer we will get. And substitute these values here in this equation, we will get alpha equal to lambda m divided by lambda m infinity. From this one, lambda m equal to alpha into lambda m infinity. So okay, put these values here, we will get lambda m equal to 360.5 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 0.4 ohm inverse meter square mole raised to minus 1. Okay, so this is the value of lambda m. Okay, so we got the value of lambda m, and if we have a value of lambda m, then kappa will be equal to from this equation, kappa equal to lambda m into concentration. So kappa equal to 360.5 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 0.4 ohm inverse meter square mole raised to minus 1. Okay, into concentration into 0.01 molar. Okay, molar means mole per liter. Okay, the molarity, this is molarity and we know mole per liter. So here it is in meter square, so we should represent it in meters. Okay, mole per liter means molar means mole per liter, mole per centimeter cube. Okay, sorry, mole per dm cube. Okay, mole per dm cube means, so mole per meter raised to minus 1 cube. Okay, so that is it. So we will get 360.5 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 0.4 into, this will cancel out, this will be mole raised to minus 3 and mole square equal to mole raised meter raised to minus 1. Okay, and mole raised, this will cancel out, so into 0.01 into ohm inverse meter raised to minus 1. Okay, so that is the answer. This is the unit given for us. So if we calculate this one, you will get the answer is 1.45 into 10 raised to minus 2 ohm inverse meter raised to minus 1. This is the answer we will get. Okay, so that's it. That is the answer we will get, and that is the answer, n equal to 1.45. Now let's move on to question number 49. Question number 49. Absorption of a toxic gas on 1 gram activated charcoal is 0.75 centimeter cube both at 2.5 atm 140 Kelvin and at 30 atm and 280 Kelvin. The isosteric enthalpy of absorption for the gas in kilojoule per mole is. Okay, let's see how to solve this. We should find out the delta H of absorption. From Van Hoff equation we will get ln P2 by P1 equal to delta H absorption by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So this is the Van Hoff equation. From this one we can easily calculate this, because all the values are given. P1 equal to 2.5 atm, T1 equal to 140 Kelvin, and P2 equal to 30 atm and T2 equal to 80 Kelvin. Okay, all the values are given. Just directly substitute this one. R is, we know R is the universal gas constant, and so the equation will be equal to ln P2 30 divided by 2.5 equal to delta H divided by 8.314 1 by 140 minus 1 by 280. Okay, equal to ln 12 equal to 0. Delta H divided by 8.314 divided by 1 by 280. Okay, this is the equation we will get, and if we solve it, delta H will be equal to delta H equal to 5774 joules. So this is the equation this is the answer we will get, and it is asked in kilojoules, so the answer will be equal to 5.78 kilojoule. Okay, this is the answer for 49. Question number 50. If the root mean square speed of hydrogen gas at a particular temperature is 1900 meters second inverse, then the root mean square speed of nitrogen gas at the same temperature in meters second inverse is. So it is given RMS velocity. RMS velocity is given as 3RT by m, root of 3RT divided by m. So this is the RMS velocity. Okay. So we know all the things. R is equal to universal gas constant, T temperature, m molar mass. Okay. So RMS velocity of hydrogen is given. RMS velocity of hydrogen is given 1900 meter second inverse. This is the value given. So RMS velocity of hydrogen divided by RMS of N2 equal to what will be the root of 3RT divided by m H2 divided by root of 3RT divided by m N2. Okay, so H2 RMS divided by N2 RMS equal to, we substitute these values, root of m N2 divided by root of m H2. mH2. So this will be the equation we will get. So from this one we will get RMS H2 divided by RMS N2 equal to root 14. Okay, root 14. So RMS N2 equal to $1900 meter per second divided by root 14. Okay, this is the value of Rn2. So the answer will be, so if you calculate 508.5, so this is the answer we will get. So that's it. So we did all the 15 questions and we have 10 more questions remaining. So let's see in the next video. Okay, bye. You can, if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment box. Okay, bye. Thank you.